Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to the stream, and chapter 2, working on this guy right there, our M2A3 Bradley with the Busk 3, which is like an armor upgrade. Anyway, we're in the intro. Okay guys, so we're back and we're going to continue on this thing. So last time we started working on our suspension pieces and our suspension arms, and I got those all done and installed. Okay, so those are all done. I also got all of our wheels assembled. Okay, all of our little wheels and our ogler wheels and our drive sprockets, those are all done. See, there's a little collection of wheels here. Okay, those are all done, so we can move on to the next step. But before we do that, I want to show you guys what's involved with the tracks, because I'm also going to be assembling the tracks off camera, just because it is very tedious. There's 80 links per side according to the instructions, and so I just want to show you guys how they go together, and then I'll do the rest off camera. Okay, so let's just do that first. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, I'll change the camera here. As you can see, I have 2 links already done here, but what we're going to do is we're going to pull them out of the bags, and then see that what they've done is they've got 2 links linked together, and we've got a whole bag full of them. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is change our glasses, because that's important, and when you're old like me, your eyes don't work as well. So we have these, and they have little nubs on them. They're 2 tracks linked together like that. Okay, so first of all, we have to clean this up. So take our nubs off of here and off of here, and then we need to separate them. So cut this nub in half. It's really hard to get in there with nippers and get this properly separated, so I'll just cut this nub right in half like that. Okay, these are garbage, so these go in the garbage, and I'm going to take my knife, being very careful. I just want to trim this off right in here like this. Get in there, just clean that up like that. Okay, now also clean up this edge. This needs to be clean. Okay, just like that. There's one. And now we'll clean out the gutter on this one, just like that, and clean off this tip. Alright, so there's 2 links that are ready to go, and what you're going to do is you're going to take them and literally you just put them together. If I can put them together, come on now. Let's try this a different way, because it's now falling apart. Grab it like this. I've got to find a relatively efficient way of doing this. They just kind of snap in together like that, and that's it. And so we've got tracks that will bend and flexible. Okay, that's all they do. They just kind of snap together. Let's do another one here. Let's do this one. Lay it down, line it up, push down, snaps in like that, and that's it. So it seems fairly simple. There's our track links assembled. Okay, and they flex, they get all that movement and everything like that. Yeah, so that is it. You have to do that 160 times. Well, I guess you got 2 tracks, so maybe 80 times. I'm gonna guess you get maybe probably a few extras in case you break them, but probably you're gonna come to, you might only have like 2 or 3 extras and that's it. So I got a lot of work to do with that, and that is that. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys that just so you see what's involved with the track links. I have a feeling that once this is all together, I'm going to be gluing the links together, just because links that snap together fairly easy tend to fall apart pretty easy, and that just seems to be par for the course when it comes to stuff like this. Now these two that I just put on here are fairly stiff, and they're holding shape when I bend them a little bit, but this end one is really loose and it just flops around. So I'm not sure how, going through excuse me, going through with all of them, how many I'm going to encounter that are really loose like that, but I don't know. We'll find out. So that's the tracks. I wanted to show you guys that because I'm going to be doing that off camera. Let's continue with our build. So we're still on the first page. We got our wheels done, those are assembled. We got our arms done. I put those little plates on each arm. I got our little shock absorbers all assembled, and I put them all on. We put this one plate on the front first last time. And I got all these on, so what I've got to do now is A15 and A13 need to go on here, go on the back. So let's grab my A tree, one of my A trees. 15 and 13, so we're gonna have, there it is there, 13 and 15 there. So let's get 13. And that looks like a nub that needs to be taken off right there. Okay, so that's 13, and we'll get 15. And just so I know which one's which, I'm going to leave the nub on 15. Okay, I'm going to leave the nub on 15 until I'm ready to put it on. So let's just clean up my nub here. Get that nice and clean and looking pretty. Just got to look pretty. Okay. So 13 goes on to this side here, and they show it looks like there's an indent in the hull. See that little indent right there? Right back here, there's an indent. That looks like that's where that's going to line up. It's got a little tab there, and so that's got to sit in there and go into that tab, just like that. Okay, let's get some glue. I'm left-handed, so I need to use my left hand. Otherwise, I've got no precision. Give that a little press just to make sure it's on there. There we go. Okay, so that's that. So we've got to do the same with number 15. I'll just put this down here like that. Get this nub off of 15. Okay, so now that that's had a minute to dry, that should hold it while I go upside down here. Put number 15 on, line it up perfectly into its little slot. And glue it. A little press just to make sure. There we go. Okay, and 15's on. Those are going to be for our drive sprockets, I imagine. Okay. So, that finishes off page number 1, step number 3. So that's all finished now. Let's flip our page and see what's next. Oh, so there's our drives. It's a rear, it's a front drive. Front wheel drive on this truck, guys. So that must be the idler wheel then, is that I just put it on. speaking of which, we have something they're calling a return roller we need to assemble. And we need to put in our, I'm going to call it our drive unit end caps. That's what I'm going to call it, the drive unit covers. E27 and 28. So let me find my E tree. E tree. I'm going to go through my big pile of sprues and find CBE. I found my D right away. That is awesome. I'm looking for E. Looking for E. I found my D. Okay, let's just put this down here. There's our two drive unit ends. 27. Right there. 27. And 28. Do I need anything off my E? I'm going to just take a quick look at the instructions. Yeah, I need E3 and 23. So I'll just hold this off. Okay, so which one was which? I don't know, but they're pretty. I'm sure they're only going to fit one way because I can see that they've got an odd shapes lefts and rights. Got a huge ejector pin inside there, which is not going to matter because as long as it doesn't interfere with how it fits, I'm just going to leave it. Got a huge one in that one too. It's like they just couldn't have been bothered to get that out of there properly. And it doesn't really matter either. So what is going to matter is which side goes where. And they kind of have an indent here, so you can tell which one's going to fit and which one won't. So let's just try the wrong one first. And although at first glance it looks like it's going to fit, it doesn't quite line up with our line there. Let's try this one, and this one that lines up perfectly. So obviously that's the difference. It's weird how it hangs off the edge like that. I hope that something goes here to cover this because that just looks really wrong. Oh yeah, the next step, step 5, we're going to cover it up. So yeah, and that's going to be E31. I just want to do a little test because I'm concerned about if I leave this ejector pin in there and then I go to put the next part on and somehow it's got something that kind of goes in there and interferes. I just want to make sure. So what's going to go on that one is going to be E30, and that's going to be this guy here. And it looks like it's going to line up like this, and so we're not going to have an issue. We won't have a problem at all, so that's good. So I'll just leave that ejector pin in there. It's not going to matter, it won't make any difference. So let's do that. And actually what I want to do is I want to put some glue down here like this, and then put it on like that. And then I want to get underneath of it here. There we go. So there's our first drive unit put in. Well, not really the drive unit, but it's the drive unit cover. Do the same with this. Quickly before that glue dries. There we go. Press down a little bit. Hold that in. Here we go. Okay, second one's in. If the camera will focus, thank you. There you go. That's how they sit. All right. So next, we need E3. E3, 1, 2, 3. This guy here. And he's gonna go right here. But he looks totally different. Okay, but it's because it's facing that direction. I need to clean this. Unfortunately, they put the nub on this side, which is facing up. We actually got some flashing on this. Look at that, we got flash on here. And they've put the nub on this edge. Actually, it wasn't the nub, it was flashing. Let's just clean our part up here. Okay, this guy is going to go right here on the edge, and he sits, looks like he sits out proud, like this. It's a little bit weird, as it sticks out, but it also kind of sits flush in there. It's just like an extra little weird part. It's an extra little weird part. It's what it is what it is. It does sit a little bit proud in there. So there's E3 and how it sits in there. Looks like that. Then we got E23 is going to go on this side. And it looks like it's just flat. It's just a flat piece, yeah. It's just a flat piece. Clean up that nub there. Now it's got one edge is chamfered. You can see that it's chamfered there on that, on the left, on the right edge. It goes to a point. So that needs to face forward. Okay, that point is supposed to face forward. So let's line them up in there. Like that. Make sure it's straight as I can. There we go. Okay, so that's those. Next, we've got some hooks and tow hooks. So we're going to put J12. We're not going to glue J12 to J32, but we are gluing J32 onto our little spots on the hull. Okay, so let's do that. We've got to find J, or J tree. We're done with E. We're done with E, well, except for these two. I'm going to take our other drive unit parts off right now, since I've got this thing sitting in my lap, and it's going to be next. So let's just get these off of here. Okay, and now we can deal with looking for J. Where's J? So many sprues to go through here and find them. Q and H, B and C. There's J way down there. J right there. Okay, so it was J32. Here's one. Okay, right there. Where did he just go? I just happened to be looking somewhere else when I put it down, and he slid. There it is. Okay, J32 right there. Now, there should be another one. They've got multiple. Do I have multiple J trees? So I only see 132 on the sprue. I got two 13s, but I need 12s. Here's my 12s. I need a couple of these. Okay, there's one, two. Why do I only have one number 32? '21 looks similar, but that's it. Do I have multiple J sprues? I'm gonna go to the back of the book rather than digging through my thing. Yes, I do. I got two J sprues. Okay, where's my other J sprue? Yeah, it's buried even deeper. There we go. Okay, so let's get the other 32 off of here. There we go. Okay. So these little toe anchors are always, I don't know, I wouldn't say they're fun because they're small and my big fingers tend to have issues with them. I want to get this nice and smooth looking. That radiused corner there, the rounded edge. I can understand in a sense why a lot of guys, for these little tiny parts, they go with photo etch stuff, or even like Night Shift. He scratch builds them himself a lot of times. Okay, so these are going to go on. How are these going to go on? Let's have another look. They go with the longer edge flat in there, and then the shallower edge goes over top. Just like that. It's funny how fast the glue works sometimes. Get this oriented in the direction I need. That. Glue on there. And our anchors are in. Now these guys are just kind of, they just kind of pressure fit over top. So I'm going to grab my other tweezers because it's a little bit hard to do by hand, and now that I've just glued these guys down, that pressure is a little hard to do without. You can do it a little bit. I'm going to move this one off of here because I need to change the angle on this so I can see better. And it's just like that. Fortunately, there's enough flex in the plastic when they're this thin that you can kind of, they get a little bit of a bend in them, and you can kind of twist it and get them on there. Or maybe not. Let's try this again. So my big feeble hands. There we go. Okay, so these are just going to dangle down, and there you go. There's our front toe hooks, like that. And they go flibble, 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 because they're realistic, right? So they can dangle down and pretend there's real gravity, and have them at that angle so that it's like they're straight down, just like that. Okay, those are done. Let's assemble our rear return roller here. They show you assembling it, but they don't show you where it goes. Unless it's this. Oh, here. Return roller right there. It's going to go in that spot there. Because the other ones, A23s, we just glue them in spots there. But the roller is actually an assembly. So let's go A6, 14, and 22. A6, 14, and 22. Well, here's 14 staring me in the face. Right there. 6. We don't have a lot left on our A tree. It's number 6, and then we got 22. These are all 23s. No, they're not. 22 is different. The last two are 23s. Okay, and since I'm going to need 23 anyway, I might as well just get them off of here and finish off our A tree. Because A is done. There's no more after these. There's no more parts on my A tree. So, done. Okay. Get this off of here. This nub off of here. Gonna clean the nub off the actual roller. Making sure not to leave a flat spot. So I'm filing it around the curve. I really should have a sip of my coffee before it gets cold. This looks like just a little plug. Okay, let's have a look here. So, 22 goes into 14. 14 is like a little cap almost, but it goes through. It's supposed to go through. And there we go. With a little bit of convincing, it goes through. Like that. And then this goes skinny side forward. Like so. And there's our assembly. Just like that. According to the instructions. So we'll just throw some glue on this. Press it together real tight. See, now that there's glue, glue oftentimes acts as a lubricant to help your parts slide together better. Okay, so there we go. So before we put those on, we're gonna just clean up our nubs on these rollers. I'll just do the one side, okay? You guys don't need to bother. I don't need to show you guys. You do one side, it's the same. Just do it again on the other side. Okay? Did not take that nub off very clean at all. Okay, so the 23s, the A23s, they go in these two spots here and here. So we'll just do a little test fit. Yep, okay. Some glue in that little indent and doink. Just like that. Okay. And then also this one. Grab that wheel. And doink. And then this guy, he's going to go in the middle here. And our tab is a lot smaller, so he doesn't really want to sit. It's a tight fit on him, so he sits there all on his own, just like that, because of the tightness of the fit. So we'll just get in there with my glue. And there we go. It's interesting that these are so much closer into the hull than this wheel. But there we go. Okay. There's that. So I'll do the other side off camera so we can move on. So that looks like that's it for step number 4, except of course I got to do those on the other side like I just said. So we'll move to step 5. Step 5, they want us to put all the wheels on, but I'm not going to do that yet. The wheels are kind of a last thing for me. We are, however, going to put our drive unit end caps on. Okay, and that's these that I already took off the sprue. I just need to clean these up. Otherwise, she's not going to fit proper. Okay. Okay, so these are obviously lefts and rights. You're not going to be able to put them on wrong. And it's going to go like that. Okay. But before we put them on, I might as well put the more tow hooks. J12s go on our little ends. So I'm going to put those on first. Okay. J12. There's 13, I want 12s. Where are my 12s? There's a 12. Oh, we already took a 12 off. There's a 12. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There's one. Gotta grab my other J. We get a total of 6 J12s. So I'm not sure where else we're going to need them, but I'm sure we will. Clean these up so they look nice and smooth. And we'll put them on here first. That way. There we go. See, it's so much easier when you don't have to be careful with it. Go a little closer to the camera so you can see here a little bit. Maybe. So kind of press that. Just kind of get over top of that. Get a position there. Go over top. And then click. And it clicks in. Just like that. Okay. Alright, so now with that we can glue our ends in, line them up there, just like so, glue around this edge, that should help hold it in there, just for a sec. Now it makes this edge not really, it's got a little bit of a gap, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see if this side also has a gap. This side's flush. So what's going on here? Let's push you down and get you in there. There you go. Gap is gone. That's better, that's a better fit. It's not a precise fit. I've got a little bit of a flap in there. See that? Now that might have something to do with me not having the actual end cap lined up perfectly. That could be my fault. But it feels like the end cap ain't got nowhere to go, so I don't think it's my fault. Okay. Drive units are one piece now. Hi, how's it going, Milas? So there we go. That's our drive units are in. Okay. Now that, I think, is going to be it for that particular step. I watched like 50 of your YouTube videos from different years. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed them. So step number 5 is finished. So we can go on to step number 6. And step number 6 is attaching the floor, the driver and passenger compartment. So we're going to grab N8. They've got number 1 here. I don't know what the big black number 1 means. But I guess what we're going to do is put our hull aside for a minute while we grab a couple of different sprues. So we've got to grab N and S and M and P. Never are way better. It's nice you started showing painting. Oh, well, yeah, I figured the painting was probably something not really many people wanted to watch, especially live. But, yeah, I figured I'd start including that a little bit, just to show you guys. So, yeah. Okay, so let's find our other sprues here that we need. Now, the floors, I think, is these green sprues. So we got N. There's N. And I need P and M. Let's see, there's M and P. Oh, right in my hands here already. Okay. Newer are way better. Yes. Yes, I agree. My newer stuff is better. Especially as I got more experienced and my skills improved a little bit over the years. Yes. Okay, so N8 is our great big one. Our main floor pan. Let's get this off of here. There we go. Do I need anything else off the N? No, does not look like it. Okay. Let's just take my file and make sure these are nice and smooth on there. I like to use the file on these big flat pieces to just help me make sure I remove the nubs and that they're straight and the edges aren't flat and I don't carve out a little section with my knife. Okay, I've got ejector pins here. I don't know if these are going to interfere at all. So I'll just remove them. It seems to be the one thing that this kit has quite a bit of is big ejector pins that they didn't clear off. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick little test fit on here. As they show the pan going in all the way to the front. Okay, so we got this little lip here. It's going to go into this little section right there. See, there's a little thing right in front of my finger there, a little thing, yeah. And it looks like they want it to go all the way in, down in here. This is a tight fit. That's it. Oh, okay, I see what they're doing. We've got ridges here where it's supposed to line up. That's why it doesn't want to go in any further. Can you tell that I've never assembled a tank interior before? Tell me you've never installed one without telling me. Let's see, line it up like this. I guess it doesn't go all that far and doesn't go down in there like I thought. It just goes like this. But they show it. They show this going down in here. So I'm doing this wrong. I guess it's supposed to go underneath those. like this maybe? How are we supposed to do this, guys? Maybe spread my hull apart. Spread you apart. Maybe like this. I think that's still wrong. I think it's still supposed to go underneath these. So that is still wrong. There we go. And you spread it. There you go. That's a tight fit. Okay, so I have it going right over top of that like they show in the diagram. Sadly, YouTube very long videos with low activity and comments, likes. I would recommend you record vlog about how you started, or maybe your model showcase, or your options on manufacture, opinions on manufacturers, or even after build besides IG photos. You should record short kit reviews. You know, I never really considered myself a reviewer on kits. I just kind of show how to put them together and any issues that you might have, and how I deal with them. That's kind of my thing, really. As far as reviews, I never considered myself a reviewer, so I don't know. Maybe I should. I'll have to think about that. I'm going to think about that, honestly. Okay, so I've got the floor in where it's supposed to go, and I just need to glue it down, which means I'm going to have to hold this down because it kind of wants to pop up on the front a little bit here. So I'm just going to put some glue on here, on the front piece, right in there. And hold that for a second. I'm going to hold that while I put a little bit of glue, maybe along this part and along there, right along there, and why not just go along in here too. Let's glue it nice, get her nice and solid in there, and just hold that for a sec while that glue does its job, and have a look. So we're going to grab a couple of different parts, attaching in numerical order. Okay, so that's what our black numbers are. Number 1, 2, and 3, like that. So number 2 is supposed to go here, but that is this part here, M10 and C10. M1 and C10 go in here, and we're supposed to put those in next, right here. Okay. P48 doesn't really matter, and S1, that's not going to matter either. And it looks like our S1s are just going to go onto these little raised parts here. These 4 raised parts. Okay, so I've held that down for a minute. Let's see if it holds. And it looks like it's holding, so that's good. It's holding in there. It wanted, this little front part just wanted to raise up and be in the air, but it looks like it's holding now, so that's good. I'm actually going to add a little bit more glue just here, just to help it out, because I only put the glue on the very tip, so let's just make sure. Okay, let's grab these other parts. M1. M1 right here. M1, come off of there. I'm going to need M14, so I might as well get that off of here too. 15, 14, right there. Okay, so there's M14. Now we're going to need C10. I didn't see my C. I need to see my C. Where's my C? C10, 5, 6, 9, 10, right here. There we go. Okay, so maybe I do, well, you know, I've never thought of doing vlogs. I have to admit, I've never thought of doing vlogs. Just doing my little build videos and that's it. I haven't really thought of doing anything more. You know, it just takes somebody's suggestion to plant a thought in your mind. Sometimes that's all it takes, you know. Something you don't think of yourself. And of course, my friends never suggest anything really. I've got a friend that he suggests certain builds that I do. Okay, so this guy, we're not supposed to glue it. It just kind of pops in here and just stays. And just leave it in there. It doesn't really do anything. Or am I supposed to actually put it? See, they just show it just kind of sitting here, dangling out. It's not, I think this is supposed to be tight and holding it, but it doesn't. It's a really loose fit. It's got all these little notches as if it's supposed to like lock in here. It's such a very loose fit, it doesn't really do anything. So I'm going to glue this thing down first because that's just going to fall out anyway. So everyone vlogs as a channel commercial. Here's my model kit story and how I end up making 20 kits a year. Oh, okay. Let's see, do you have some strong opinions on manufacturers or kits? What's your personal best and worst? Okay, well, I would say if I had a preference, it really depends on what I'm building. If I'm building airplanes, one of my favorites would be Tamiya. Tamiya's almost always a high quality kit that goes together really, really well. Their fitment and detail is pretty good. If I had a least favorite in airplanes, and just in general, my least favorite, it would be Revell. In general. But that being said, if I'm building a car, see, cars are unique because cars are, depending on what car it is, you get restricted on what manufacturers you can choose from. And so if you want to build like American muscle car, you're really kind of restricted with a couple of different brands like Revell or MPC. There's been others, but they kind of get bought out or got bought out by either Revell or MPC. This does not want to fit in the holes at all. Our little tabs don't want to fit in, so I'm chamfering them. Let's see, armor models such as this one. You know, I've built Tamiya, I've built Meng, and Tamiya has quite a bit of selection. I mean, Meng does too, but Meng, as you can tell, Meng has a lot of detail that Tamiya just doesn't have. Tamiya armor kits are very simple, and they go together. They look good. It's just they don't have the detail that Meng does. Okay, I kind of got it. It's pressed in there, but at the same time, it doesn't want to go. I got it pretty much where it needs to be. I'm going to glue this down now. The glue might help get those to slide in there a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so that's in. Finally that's in there. Okay. A lot of people say Tamiya, but lately when I watch kit reviews, I'm impressed. Takom. Takom, what did I build? I built one kit from Takom, and that was the Polish tank. The Polish, what do they call it? Not the, I forget the name of it. I forget the name of it now. It was the Polish concept tank. But they never actually went into the best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space. Okay. Sure. Ah! Where'd that piece go? Yeah, that Polish concept tank was the only Takom kit I've ever built. And, I mean, it was simple. There was really not much to it. Can't say that I was... Although I had no problems with it, and it looked good when it was done, I wasn't impressed with the detail, let's just say that. But it was okay. It was a good kit. It was fine. Okay, so now M14 has to go over top of that, over top of this, with this thing hanging out. I guess it makes it so that this doesn't fall out anywhere. If that lines up. There we go. Get them in the slots. This back one doesn't want to go in. There we go. It's a tight fit, but it's in. Okay, so that we have this, and I guess this we're going to be able to slide back and forth like this. So that's why this is all together in that particular order. So let's glue this along here and along here. That is in. Okay. Let's just make sure this is up in the air. And so we have that little assembly done there. Okay. I'm from Poland. Sad it's the only a prototype. Yeah. And it is a cool looking tank. I mean, I'll give it that. It's definitely modern. Same with like the, I mean, it's a similar design, and I know Korea has a similar design tank now, and what is it? I think America even is designed one that's similar in shape and style. They're finally getting something different than their Abrams. Okay, so we got to grab S1. Got to get our S tree. S1. Is it 1? I'm looking at P. Why am I grabbing P? I'll grab my P. I need my S. S. Where are you, S? Are you one of these? No. C. Where's my S? Can't find my S. F and R. N. S. The very bottom, buried at the very bottom. S. Because there's so many sprues in this kit. 4 times S1. I should have known to grab all the green sprues for this. The tower and gun look heavy. I don't know it's realistic. Yeah, it's really hard to tell. Because it is, you know, it's just a concept, so. It is what it is, right? I cannot imagine the amount of time and money and work goes into designing something like that. Let's just leave this. Okay, so like I said, these guys, they go with the little curved spot facing up, and they're just going to go down on top of these little spots here like that. And that's it. And that's all they do. And they actually got a couple little holes to line them up on there. That's cool. I'm going to say that right off the top. That's just cool. So I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to grab glue and go doink and go doink, like that. Grab the next one, glue there, line up, there we go. We'll press down and make sure it's in. Doink, 2 of them done. Next, this one. Press down, good. One more. Glue there. Oop. Oop. Press down. Done. Okay. So those 4 pieces are in. And that's that. And that actually looks like we're done for this part. Now they show us putting in decals. We want a decal on a piece that we can't get to now. And the decal on the front there of this. But we're going to do decals later. So what I want to do is, so that I remember later on, I'm going to grab a highlighter. And I'm just going to do this in the book. So that later on I can look back and go, oh yeah, I need to do that. Because, you know, 6 to 8 hours from now, when I'm coming back and I'm getting to the end of the build, I'll forget all about that fact that I need to put a decal in there. So we can flip the page and go into the front. We'll put these 4 pieces in, or 3 pieces. Put these in, and then I've got to get going. My time is just about up here for today. So, K31. So there are K tree and our S4. Okay, so S4. Here's my S. Turn it around so I can read these numbers. S4. How are your skills in painting figurines? I know that Citadel paints make it easy to paint with a brush. I'm okay with figurines. I'm going to give myself an okay rating when it comes to painting figurines. In my younger years, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons. I know I'm a nerd, and I used to like painting the little figurines for that game. I enjoyed it. I was never all that great, but I was a lot better than my friends, who of course never tried to paint them at all. So I do okay. You know what? I actually have. Because I gotta grab my K tree anyway. Let me grab this. Let me show you. This real diversion from this. This is my attempt at painting a figurine. Okay. Here's my attempt at painting a figurine. This is just for something to have in the background when I'm like taking a picture of my airplanes or something like that. I can have some detail in the background to give it more of a, you know, trying to make it look realistic. And so, yeah, there's my figurine painting. Okay, let's find the K tree. K. Is that in the box here? Yes. K looks like it's of our engine or transmission stuff. So I need K31 and 33, and that's these 2 pipes here. I have painted my own kind of figurines and stuff, doing 3D printing. I've 3D printed some things. Again, like I said, I give myself an okay rating when it comes to actually painting figurines. I definitely don't have the whole zenithal shading technique. perfected at all. Although I've tried, just not. I'm okay, I guess. Again, I say it's okay. Do you thin paint and do multiple layers? Yeah, pretty much you have to, right? Because if you paint it thick, you wind up losing your detail, right? And I've got a whole bunch of Vallejo paints, but I hate them. I hate that they're so thick, and if you do try and thin them out, they lose the ability to cover, and then you've got to put 20 layers of it. You got to paint 20 layers of it to get it to cover. I don't like Vallejo paints. Just that whole thing. I really just prefer, these things. I just so much better for me. They spray better. They brush paint better. Everything's better with Tamiya or Mr. Hobby rather than Vallejo. But just to show you, I do have them. I do have, this Vallejo. I use this for my rust. Vallejo Mecha. Yeah, that's an example. I do have Vallejo paints, but I found, like, when I painted my F-15, I used AK Interactive, this acrylic, and this stuff was good. Their new line of acrylics are nice. I do like those. But my Vallejos, yeah, I almost never touch them. They collect dust. Okay, so before we go, we're going to put these last three parts in. So we're going to take this guy first, and it looks like they want this little tab going up right. If I find it where this tab goes, follow that line down to here. It's going to go right here. Like that. And it looks like the tab on this side here, you can't see them off camera, sorry. Alright, yeah, because brush is tricky, it is. I find with brush painting, you want to have it thick enough that your brush strokes blend together, so you lose your brush strokes. But then you do that, there's a fine line between doing that and losing detail in your stuff, right? So this tab has to go here. Well, this tab locks into the tab on the wall. The first slot on the wall. Like so. If I press down and get it to hold in its spot, it does that. So that's good. So let's put some glue there, and that's going to hold it. And it's naturally gone into its own little slot there. That's great. So in the wall, that's perfect. So then we have this guy. This guy doesn't really have another tab. It's only got the one that goes into the wall. And of course, I wasn't paying attention, but you need to. I know you're from Canada. A lot of Poles migrated there. Are we behaving good? I'd have to say yes. So make sure I did it right. By mistake, I did it right. Put this one in first, and then you do the K33 second. Okay, so pay attention to that if you're building this kit. I wasn't paying attention. I fluked out, and I got it right. So this guy goes into that spot there, which is naturally going to have it line up right there like that. So we can put a little glue down at this end, a little glue on the wall, and a little glue right there where it's touching. It's actually like two pipes. There we go. So our piping is in. It's like that. Okay. I don't know why I've got a little. They tell you to paint them. I don't know what color to paint. I haven't gone through the different colors in this kit yet. to see what they want to paint. So last we have S4 is supposed to go down in the back here, right back here in this spot. So this little slot here, this little notch, there's a little notch there. See that notch right there, right in the middle? Okay, that's going to line up right there with that little tab right where my thing is that my camera doesn't want to focus on. And so that's going to go right in there. This. Okay. So I'm just going to put some glue around this wall here. Line that up. Just like that. Okay. And call that done. Put a bit of glue on there just to give it some stability. And there we go. So we've got our little green wall. Although it's not cooperating for some reason. Why isn't it straight? Why aren't you straight? There. That's better. Oh, I know why it's not straight. Ejector pin. Ejector pin is interfering with it. Let's file this down. Smooth. That's why. Ejector pins. Ejector pins suck. Ejector pins suck. That's all I can say. Let's try this again. Much better. Much better. Glue on the wall again. There we go. Okay. And that's it. Strange that you give your that melts plastic together works through paint. It is, yes. But that's the nature of the glue, I guess. Is it's eating the plastic, really, is what it's doing. My little nub here is really bugging me. It's bugging me that it's a little white spot on there. But that's where the plastic has been stressed, and that's why it's white. Okay. Okay, so that is going to be it for today. I'm going to have to work on step 8 next time. I was going to say tomorrow, but I can't guarantee I'm going to be working on this tomorrow. That's going to be it. We got quite a bit assembled here today. I still have to do these wheels, but I'll do that off camera. Yeah, so we're getting somewhere. We're finally getting somewhere. I am also going to have to go through the book and see what all these colors are that they're calling out for, so that I can start working on painting before it gets too assembled and then I can't get in there to paint stuff. So, yeah. So, that, unfortunately, is where I'm going to have to leave it for now. I'm going to have to get going. So, I want to thank you, Mila Savoyd, for the chat. I want to thank my camera for being blurry for no reason at all. Let's see if I can convince my camera to focus on me here. Woo! Can you focus? There we go. That's a little better. Yeah. When you airbrush parts on a sprue and then you have to touch up places that are attached to sprue, does it look weird? I'm going to say no, because those spots, thanks, because those spots where it's attached to the sprue, many times those spots are hidden and you don't really see them. So that's why airbrushing it on the sprue, a lot of times you get away with doing that. And if you do have to touch up, well, you're using the same color anyway, and it's just a very small spot. You don't really notice it very much. It's very rare. But sometimes, you know, you see a part and you just know where it's attached. It's going to be visible, and you kind of get a feel for it that spot's going to be visible. You know, you've got to take it off the sprue and paint it separate. But especially for small parts, like all this stuff that I've been building today, all these small parts, it's not going to matter really. I mean, like, of course, I'm making myself a liar because there's this spot right there on this tube that was attached to the sprue, and it's clearly visible. Had I painted that on the sprue, well, that would be visible and I'd have to touch it up. But taking a little dab of paint, just going on that little spot, you're not going to notice. The paint's going to bleed into itself, and it's, you know, we are dealing with small parts after all. Anyway, again, I've got to get going, and so I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for the chat, Milas, and you know, check out my links below if you're watching this on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that. And yes, Milas, no problem at all. I'm always happy to answer questions. And you have a good day too. And with that, I guess we'll leave it there, and we'll see you all in the next one.